Hello, y'all. Welcome back to another episode of Road About on YouTube. Hope you're all having a wonderful day whenever you're watching this. We're here to recap the Iowa Corn 350 at Iowa Speedway, the inaugural Cup Series race. Man, a lot to talk about in this race. I do need to put a disclaimer. I do apologize if I missed something in this episode that I should have talked about. There's always something that I feel like I should have said here and there that I missed and bummed me out, so I'll let you know that. But let's talk about this race. We're going to do a recap. We're not going to do a whole breakdown, because usually a breakdown is a little longer and in depth. A recap of this race. Congratulations to Ryan Blaney. Gets his first win of the season. Gets kind of to rebounds from that gateway, the way that race ended. Dominant car all day. Wins the race. This was a going into this race was very interesting. We were worried about tire issues. They had a long 15-minute practice, which is so nice to see. I would love to see more full-length practices. It's refreshing. It's great to see. Tire issues. This repay of this track was not ideal. NASCAR said they didn't have enough time in their window to fully repay the track. All these things. They repaved both turns, about 2 lanes, and we were worried that it was going to be everyone searching for that new pavement. It was going to be single file, whatever. Well, that turned out to be wrong. They weren't shifting. There was good passing. The new asphalt, it was wide enough, so we saw a lot of great racing, a lot of good passing. It was exciting. I mean, the first stage 1 was a very, the first couple in lap 4, we had Corona Joy spin. We had some great battle between Ryan Blaney and Kyle Larson training the lead there. Kyle Larson won that stage. AJ Allmendinger got involved, wrecked out. Kyle Larson, I would say, dominated stage 1. Ryan Blaney right there. Different strategy going on with tires. When people blew, people were worried that we weren't going to be able to get 20 laps into the first, you're only going to be the last 20 laps with your set of tires. And we didn't really, we ended up not seeing as much of that. Now, we saw tire failures, but I think the teams, this is what happens when you give teams time. You give teams time to practice, they make adjustments. Tire lasts longer. So we didn't see a Bristol type race at all in this race. But stage 1, Kyle Larson won. Blaney was in there second. Stage 2 was a lot more eventful. I felt like a lot more happy with the strategies. When people pitted, when people didn't pit, it was, to me, I felt like, Larson won the pole, Blaney was second. Those two, I think, were the best cars all day, but I felt like Larson had a bigger edge, faster car. He also tested here. So that was the one thing. I felt confident out of the 3 cars that tested here, doing the entire test, which was Kyle Larson, Christopher Bell, Brad Keselowski. I felt like Hendrick. I felt like Larson would be considered a more talented driver, they would be a lot more successful in this race, and they really did. We saw some content in stage 2 with John Nemechek and Noah Gragson. That incident was a bit interesting to me because I don't know what it is with John Nemechek. I think he's a talented race car driver, but he just makes moves like this. It was a really, really aggressive move. Got into Noah Gragson. He spun. He was going to go around, but saved it. That was just interesting. I don't know what John Nemechek was doing there. Kind of threw in it with the more strategy wasn't involved with there. I couldn't give you a full breakdown what all happened, how it was all shaping up. One pin here. But I think Larson had some contact with Blaney early in that stage 2 or he was at the first restart, and he decided to pit. So the sidewall was a little knocked off the tire, so he pitted. So he went to the back of the field and was able to run his way back up, I think, out in the top 10. So tires did matter in this race too. But then with Kyle Larson working his way through the field, we saw Blaney, Steven Giovinazzi, Hendrick cars all leaning up front there. And then we got into a really big, long cycle of pit stops. A lot of, Christopher Bell, a lot of the leaders, a lot of contenders, top 15 good cars, all cycled through. And during this time, there was some cars that were having tire failures. Eric Jones, I know Michael McDowell had one. There was probably a couple more missing in there. But that was the thing. We saw tire failures, but they weren't fully, they exploded, but they weren't, the debris wasn't going all over the racetrack. It wasn't like the tires were, to me, they weren't really wearing. You couldn't see the wear. There wasn't marbles. They would just slowly kind of wear, and then all of a sudden, boom, pop. But luckily, a lot of drivers could feel it. They feel a vibration or something, so they were able to make pit road. There was a time there with Eric Jones. He got really, really slow with no caution. But this is where we get to the controversial caution in stage two with around 29 laps to go. Caution comes out. TV didn't catch it because it was such a simple caution. It was with Daniel Hemrick, both tire, smacks the wall gently, comes off and keeps rolling slowly. And NASCAR looks like they got a little greedy and threw a caution. And that just blew up the whole situation because that took a ton of cars massively, all in the whole strategy, a lap down. It was really cool. They had in stage two, they were pretty much interviewing the pit crew guys of the 20 car and the 7 car and the crew chief. They were always interviewing them. That was a really cool feature NBC did. But yeah, freaking Christopher Bell's crew chief was really pissed, really frustrated. Adam Stevenson, he was mad, and he deserved to be mad because it screwed up much cars lap down, and especially because that caution felt like they were letting those ones go. It wasn't like it was just the car was slow because there was the caution. There was no caution for Eric Jones when he was running really slow. He came down in front of one of the cars almost. So that was to me a terrible caution, very very greedy caution. Then they had pit stops, cycle through. Rick Stale stayed out there. Restarting. The restarts were really, really exciting all race. Ricky stayed out there, didn't have much success. Blaney was able to take the lead and kind of hold on to the lead. Larson was able to run up there close to the lead, but Blaney took home the stage 2 win. Start stage 3 with a couple of cars staying out like Josh Berry, Chris Buescher, Rakazowski, Todd Gillen. And Larson was around, I think, 5th or 4th there. Restarted, going in to 1 and 2. It's pretty chaotic, but then going to 3 and 4, we had a battle there. It looked like Kyle Larson sending in 3 wide with Daniel Suarez and Keselowski on his outside. It looks like Suarez got tight, lost it, came up into Larson. Larson went head on in the wall, collected Denny Hamlin, and that ruined the best car of the day, Kyle Larson's day, also ruined Denny Hamlin's day. Disappointing. And really, that opened up this race wide open because I felt like Larson was the best car all race pretty much. To me, a lot of people were blaming Suarez, but I felt like with replays and the way I explained it, Larson sent it 3 wide. If he didn't send it 3 wide, I think they all would have been fine. Larson, I know in his interview, was saying that he probably didn't need to force it that early in that restart, but he just wanted to pass as many cars as possible during that time. Really disappointing. Unfortunate for Larson and Hamlin. Suarez, and also to me, I think it's just one of those racing deals. Everyone's being aggressive, trying to get all they can get on the restarts, and this happens. And it's opened the race up. It really opened the race up for Ryan Blaney to really take control. But after that, we saw another great restart with Josh Berry and Chris Buescher. They were going at it hard. The racing here was exciting. It was fun. It was really, really good. And then later on stage 3, as Chris Buescher was struggling, blows a tire, brings out a big caution. We weren't seeing as many tire failures near the end of this race because I think the sun went down, cooled the track down, which was surprising. Usually the tires wear more when it's cooler out, now when it's hotter out. But we did see that less. But that was a big caution. Cycled it. Blaney was leading the race. He took 2 tires. A lot of the other cars behind him, I think both his teammate Joe Logano took 2 tires, and a lot of the other contenders, like William Byron and Chase Elliott, Brackus Lawson, they all took 4 tires. It was an interesting strategy by the Team Penske. Restarted, always restarting aggressively. It all kind of cycled through with Blaney leading, having a strong lead. But then later in the race, we saw a contact with Brackus Lawson and Kyle Busch. I think it was just tight racing. I don't know if it was really anyone's fault there. And then it ended up causing an issue, mechanical, something broke from Kyle Busch. He pitted, realized it was more worse than just a tire going down or a tire issue. He went to the garage. Frustration for Kyle Busch. Could have put him back in the points. But really, there was no caution with that incident with Kyle Busch. And pretty much after that, the race just kind of settled in. And we saw Blaney just kind of maintain his lead over a second lead. There was times there with lap traffic that Billy Byron was able to settle in the second. It was just those 2 guys really were in there. We saw Chase get closer to Byron in third. Battle there for second, but then Chase couldn't pass him. And with lap traffic, we thought, is Byron catching him? And then once Blaney would get out of the lap traffic, he was able to stretch it. And that's kind of how it was the whole way down the race. It was a couple laps ago, we saw Byron get like a half a second, and then Blaney was able to stretch it back out. Within Blaney winning the race, gets the inaugural win. It was over like 80 80 people of Ryan Blaney's family there. So that was really, really cool to see. Great win, big win for him. Fan favorite win. So our top finishers are rundown. Ryan Blaney first. He did over 200 laps, 201 laps in this race. Great win, gets locked into the playoffs. Gonna have, I think he has over 7 playoff points. Great win for him. Another great finish for William Byron. As always, going to be good. He's been running pretty well. Not surprising. Chase Elliott. I believe he's first in the regular point standings. Whenever in the Winston Cup standings, you could have said Chase Elliott's he's been quiet but really good. I think I could expect him to get a couple more wins this year. But yeah, I think Chase Elliott's back. He's running well. He's running competitive. He's just putting down great finishes and great results. So great day for him. Also, Christopher Bell, fourth, a guy who came on strong in this race. He was the guy who tested here. So great run for him. Fifth, Ricky Styles Jr. Massive finish for him. Huge for him, and especially for that team. So that's going to be some good momentum going into another short track in New Hampshire. Joey Logano, sixth. Quiet day, was competitive, top 10 car all day. Seventh, Josh Berry, another guy who led laps in this race that I didn't really cover. There was times where who knows if cautions didn't fall here and there, that Josh Berry could have been in a position to win this race. So I'll say this: the Fords, they're back. They're more competitive, and I know it's just short tracks, but I think even on the intermediates and some of these big tracks we come up to, I think they'll also be very competitive. I'm excited to see that. So good for the Fords. Alex Bowman, 8th place, another great finish, top 10. Daniel Suarez, 9th, another big finish for him, and who's been struggling this year. And then rounding out in top 10, Brad Keselowski, another great top 10 finish for Brad. Brad's been running really well. He's putting down good, solid finishes, good for the points. Ross Chastain, 11, Todd Gilliland, 12, great top 15 finish for Todd Gilliland. Justin Haley, another great finish for Justin Haley and that small Ricker Racing team. They're really proving themselves and really being very impressive this year in that 51 car for Justin Haley. Carson Hocevar, top 15, 14th. Martin Truex, 15th, who announced his retirement. Great run for him. Noah Gragson, 16th. Bubba Wallace, 17th. 18th, Austin Dillon. 20th, Harrison Burton. 21st, Corey LaJoie. And then 22nd, Ty Reddick. Not sure what happened to him, but I know with that bad caution that I felt like was a greedy caution by NASCAR. He was in a lap down. Really, I think threw off his race, and I'm not sure what happened if he had anything issue with his car. Disappointing finish for him. Michael McDowell, 23rd, who had a bunch of tire issues this race, so disappointing for him. And then Denny Hamlin, who was really bad in stage 1. Went a lap down in stage 1, and then stage 2 was able to come back and run top 10 until he got in that wreck with Kyle Larson, so really killed his day. So 2 bad finishes for Denny Hamlin, but he's still good on points. And he's coming out with a couple good tracks, like Pocono coming up in a couple weeks that he could come out there and get a win and really get that momentum got going. And then Ty Gibbs, 25th. Now let's put this race on the rolling rate. Well, this race, to me, was great. Iowa, solid race. Good race. The word G-O-O-D. Good race. To me, Iowa is here to stay. I think what they need to do is the repay was we were a little worried that it was going to be single file. It wasn't. Passing happened. Tire wear tires could be a little softer. Think we can kind of up that softer tire will be helpful, because I think the last run there, Ryan Blaney pitted, only took 2 tires and ran the last 80-something laps, 80-something laps on one side of tires. So we got to get that little softer tire. I think the tire difference would be a really big deal. I think they should repave this entire track, and hopefully, whenever they did the North Wilkesboro, do it to Iowa, and I think you can have a really good multi-groove whole racetrack type racing, and I think it'd be really, really good and exciting. But overall, the race was good, awesome, lots of passing, like I said, drama filled, lots of drama, really, really good solid race. It was a good finish in my opinion, yes, because we saw Byron come close and then lose it, the lead, the second back, then half a second. So you're always in your edge in your feet to figure out, and also the whole tire issue situation. We didn't know if Blaney, because he was running so long in those one-set tires, if something could have happened there. So I thought the race, like I already said, really good. Could give it a 7.5. I think it's a great race. I'm excited for the next Iowa race for sure. Sold out crowd, great area, great venue, lots of campers, great NASCAR area. Happy they got their NASCAR Cup Series race, and hopefully it's here to stay for a long time. But let's get into the NBC coverage. My gosh, incredible. Great job. NBC just blows Fox out its freaking seat. It's so much levels above. I feel like there seems like less commercials. You're seeing more of the race. There's more NASCAR nonstop, well, NASCAR side by side. You're seeing more of the race, the overall, the announcing, the camera work, the production is just levels above. Just so much more exciting. It just feels like NBC gives a crap. Fox just does the half this, half that effort, man. I think Fox is not trying. I don't know. I don't know. Unless they just freaking bought the entire IndyCar schedule, maybe they're gonna put a little more effort into IndyCar now and less NASCAR. I don't know, dude. But I'm sorry, NBC has the second half of this season. They do a great job. Almost an hour, 45 minutes of post race interviewing all the drivers, top 10 field. So NBC does it right and does it well. I can't wait for New Hampshire. Flat track. Looking forward to seeing if Martin Truex, that's the guy I'm looking out for in this race. But a lot to look forward to next weekend. Besides that, thank you guys for watching. Like I always say, like and subscribe. Give me a comment. Let me know how you thought about this race. Do you like Iowa? Do you want to continue for many more years? All that good stuff. Goodbye.